Hey beauties, it's Nikea here. I'm here doing a chit chat, get ready with me. I have a job interview at 3 o'clock today, so it's 11:30. But I decided to go ahead and do my makeup because I just needed to calm myself down because I'm like so nervous. So I just wanted to do this video because one, I wanted to do my makeup just to calm down because doing my makeup relaxes me. And two, I wanted to come and talk to you all and share with you about why I have this job interview, just talk to you about my life and career path thus far. So yeah, but before I get into that, I want you to go down below and click on that subscribe button and click on that bell notification button so that you never miss when I post. Join the club, y'all. What do I always say? It's free, it's easy, and it's fun. Alright, so I'm not going to be like telling what products that I use. If you want to see products that I use on my face, I'll link some other videos in the description box with my full face routine. But this video is really just focused on the chit chat portion of the video. Alright, so like I said, I have a job interview today. I'm not gonna say where because I don't know when this video is posting. But it's at a college. So I'm moving into higher ed from teaching K-12. So for the past 4 years, I've been teaching 4th and or 5th grade. So I moved to North Carolina, Greensboro specifically 4 years ago to get my master's degree. And I got a teaching position at a charter school. So I taught 4th and 5th grade my first year, and then the second year I taught exclusively 5th grade. My third year teaching, I went to another charter school here in Greensboro, and I taught there for the past 2 years, and there I taught 4th grade. Yes, I've taught self-contained, I've taught science, math, social studies, ELA in 4th and 5th grade. So yeah, I've only done those 2 grades as far as K-12. I left my first school because of administration. I felt like they were trying to bully me, for lack of a better term, because I spoke up for myself and I didn't always agree with everything that they did. Like, I wasn't disrespectful or anything. But, you know, I spoke up for myself. I stood up for what I believed in. And, you know, as far as like teaching and just me personally as well. Wow, that's a lot of primer. All right. So basically this it actually started happening in my second year of teaching. Like, my first year of teaching was fine. I didn't have any issues. But my second year, like, the principal at the elementary school, she like started complaining about what I wore to work and saying, she actually told me that my attire wasn't school professional. And I used to wear, if I have some pictures, I'll insert them, but I specifically, when I got this teaching job, like, I went to New York and Company and went shopping. Like, I wore knee-length skirts and dresses. I wore high heels, you know, work appropriate, you know. I did my makeup every day. And, you know, New York and Company makes wonderful clothes and, you know, stuff for professional wear. And I felt like I was dressing professional, and my stuff wasn't tight, but it was form-fitting. It fit my figure. You know, I don't have too much to show off. You know, I was covered up, I was well dressed, well groomed, my clothes were clean. But when I talked to my other coworkers about it, they let me know that that's her mentality. She tends to get jealous of other people. She's a heavier woman, and not to say that heavy woman can't look good, but just based off conversations that I had with people that worked with her for longer, she gets jealous. So, you know, she was jealous of me because I have a smaller frame, and the fact that, you know, I was dressing well and looked nice, and the kids love the way I dress. They always compliment me, and I guess she was jealous of that. So they tried to like make me wear flats, say I couldn't wear heels anymore. Like the director of the schools, because the school had elementary, middle, and high school. So the director who was over all of that, he told me that my shoes could be used as a weapon by the students. And I'm like, how are the students going to use my shoe as a weapon unless I take it off and leave it somewhere? And the only time I took off my shoes at work really was when we went to recess, when they were outside, and they were always like behind my desk, in my bag, in the area where the students didn't go. But besides the point, like my students never bothered my shoes. So I don't understand where this came from. And they also made up this story like they got complaints from parents. Who was complaining about the way I dress? Like seriously? And I asked for like documentation, like they never gave it to me. And they tried to like write me up and stuff, but I kept fighting it. And you know, I was letting them know like, this is how I dress, this makes me feel comfortable. Like I don't feel comfortable in flats. And like it was just, and this wasn't even in the dress code. It wasn't even in the dress code that they gave us. Like the only thing that was explicit was the fact that you had to wear school spirit gear on Friday, to wear jeans, and that men had to wear ties. Other than that, there was nothing explicit. Not in the handbook I received. So unless they sent something else. And I was dressing, you know, in a professional manner. But yeah, they tried to use that against me. So I don't know what their plan was or what their agenda was, what they wanted to happen. What did I do so wrong? But yeah, they had a target on my back. And I remember even contacting my dad, like, what can I do? And I even contacted like the North Carolina Department of Instruction, like seeing if there was something I could do, because I just like, I really felt harassed at this point. Like the director was emailing me, my principal was emailing me, and I was just like, this is not cool. So I decided not to stay there. And yeah, at this time I found out I was pregnant with Harper. So my coworkers were like, oh, you should just stay and blah, blah, blah. But I was like, I gotta go somewhere where I'm gonna be happy. I gotta leave here. So at that time I had planned to leave K-12 actually at that time. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get out of K-12 because I really wanted to do higher education anyways. I just got my master's degree. So I was like, let me see if I can, you know, do something in higher education. So that summer I was applying to jobs in the area to get into higher education, teaching wise. But none of that came through, but I still applied to teaching positions. And luckily I got a position at my previous school where I was working, and that worked out wonderfully. Like the first year was good. It was stressful, but I feel like that just comes with the territory of being a teacher. All right, so I don't remember what I was talking about. I just had a little small little incident with Harper. Oh yeah, so I was talking about working at this new charter school. So we had some changes. Like I started off teaching self-contained, then we went to departmentalized, and this happened while I was out on maternity leave. So I was pregnant at first, then I had a newborn, had a short maternity leave. Y'all can hear my mom vlog. I'll link that above into the description box to that video about my return to work after only 4 weeks. But yeah, there were a lot of changes, but I really felt like coached there, and I really felt supported my first year. So I was excited about the second year. This is my first year teaching math this past school year. And y'all, 4th grade math is hard, okay? And then, you know, we're already working with the demographic of students that are like, majority of them are low performing, and you know, there's gaps to fill. So you're trying to fill in those gaps and bring them up to grade level at the same time. And So, you know, my students took lots of tests. So I was put on a coaching plan for lesson planning because of my students' performance on the tests wasn't so high. And I don't think that was fair. You know, that's my one issue with K-12 is that teacher performance is based off of students on state tests. But you have all of these students who are on different levels taking the same test. How does that make sense? Like, how is that even fair? Like, there's this meme that I saw where it has all these animals and you're grading them on how well they can climb a tree. Like, of course somebody's gonna look dumber than the other person, you know? So, you know, we were just teaching to test, and it was very, very stressful. So, and that's not the specific school's fault. That has to do with like the county, the state, this country. Like, our educational system sucks because all we do is teach the test, and we don't feed into these kids and develop relationships with them, which is so much more important. And we don't make tests that they can take. You know, granted, they do need math skills, they do need reading skills, but they need it in a way where they can receive it, and we have to try to tap into that stuff. So this year, teaching like a testing subject, well, I've taught testing subjects before, but teaching a testing subject at the school where I was, it just really opened to my eyes with the disparities in the educational system in K-12 and just how much it sucks. And I feel for these kids. Like, some of these kids are like really brilliant, but when you look at them on paper on this test, they're not, and they start to feel bad. And so I was just, you know, I was going back and forth, like, do I want to teach K-12 anymore? And I was looking at like what I could do next year. I'm just not the type of person that likes to give up, but really I had to do what was best for my mental health. Like, I really got to the point where I'm gonna do what I need to do and I'm gonna be done. Like, they're not about to stress me out because I'm not getting paid enough, for sure. And I feel like I'm good at teaching and I have a passion for it, but I just don't like teaching the way that other people want me to teach. Because I honestly feel like as long as they're getting the content, why does it matter how I teach it? And I'm a very reflective person. Like, I'm able to like reflect on, say, okay, this wasn't working, so I'm gonna try it this way. But I feel like the school I was at, like, they weren't seeing immediate results, and they didn't have time to coach me this year the way that I need to be coached. Like, because every year that I've taught, I feel like I'm a new teacher because I'm teaching a different subject or a different grade. So granted, 4th and 5th grade aren't that far apart, but there's differences. There's age differences, there's curriculum differences, and, you know, I need time to adjust. Like, you have other teachers that they've been teaching for like 14 years. They've been teaching 3rd grade for 14 years. So, you know, not too much challenge there. So, and I honestly just didn't feel right there anymore. There was something about it, you know, my discernment was kicking in, like, this wasn't the place for me. And I'm not the type of person, you ain't gonna fire me, so I'm gonna leave before before I get fired. But I wasn't happy. And I just did not have the opportunity for like work-life balance, like, not at all. And my boyfriend was not happy with the way I was coming home. So granted, I'm not a perfect person, not trying to say that I didn't do anything wrong, not the case, but that's just, it wasn't the place for me. It was time for me to go. I did my 2 years, it was time for me to go. And I honestly wanted to leave during Christmas break. Like, I was applying to jobs over Christmas break because I was done. I was just done with the bull crap. Like, I think what really upset me the most, like, I was on a coaching plan because of students testing, and that the coaching plan was changing every time they would bring it to me. Like, they would say, oh, we want you to come off of this plan by this time. And then they would give me a new plan. They would say, oh, you did this good. And then like 1,000 things that I'm not doing well or doing the way that they want me to do it. So I just felt like that wasn't fair. And I felt like that was like total BS. Like, no, I'm not gonna do things the way that you want me to do them. No, my classroom's not gonna look like how you want it to look. Sorry if you hear Harper crying in the background. She's upset because she's been restricted to her play area because of what she did. Yeah, so she's in a little timeout area. Anywho, but like I was saying, my classroom's not gonna look how you want it to look. It's gonna be how I want it to be. I'm gonna teach how I want to do. Yes, I'm gonna follow like your guidelines and instructions, but I'm gonna take what I need for what y'all give me and make it work for my room, my students, and make it work for myself. So I just felt like I was trying to be put in a box. So, and that's just not Nikea. That's not who I am. That's not gonna make me happy. So when people try to put constraints on me and try to not refine me and try to define me, then I'm not definable. You can't. That's not okay. You can't restrain me, can't restrict me. That's just not gonna be a good situation for anybody. So, you know, I had tried to leave, but I didn't find anything. So when it was time at the end of the school year to like decide, do you want to come back? I was like, I think I told him I did want to come back. Yeah, I did tell him that because I didn't have anything at the time. So I was like, you know, I have a child. I don't want to just go without having a job. Then at the end of the year, like closer to the end of the school year, probably like 6 weeks out, I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. And I felt so much better and I felt so much freer. I felt like a burden was lifted off of me. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I really felt good about my decision. And you know, I began looking and scoping out jobs, but I started getting this fear of like, because I was jumping into something new. Because I always had being in higher education as one of my goals. So it was just the fear of going into higher education, and then like people would look at my application and be like, oh, she's been teaching 4th and 5th graders. What does she know about higher education? But, you know, I got my degree from the illustrious North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University. So I know that they prepared me to teach at that level. And I feel like that's how I was trying to teach my students anyway, because I'm a more like hands-off type person. Like, here's what you need and I'll guide you along the way. Those 4th graders, they just needed so much hand holding, which I'm okay with sometimes, but most of the time, like, I should be able to give you instructions and then, okay, you go on, do your thing. If you need some points of clarity, I'm there to help, but I don't want to like just be a sit and get type person. But technically I didn't quit my job. I just resigned from the position. And being a teacher, you got to do that because you still need to get paid over the summer and have some benefits until you find another job if you haven't found one already. But I knew I wanted to get into higher ed, so I've been applying to higher education jobs this summer. Actually, I took like the first 2 weeks off, but I did have some jobs like in my queue. You know, on websites that I go on. So I had jobs up there and just kind of going over the description. And even though I do have this interview today, I'm still applying to other jobs because, you know, don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket. So I will still be applying to other jobs until I have a firm offer, and who knows if they'll offer me this job or if I even want to accept it, you know, once it's all said and done. But I feel like this is like a way for me to like put myself out there to really get my feet wet in higher education. Because I do want to go back to school and get my PhD. And I feel like, you know, teaching right now in higher ed would be a good way for me to segue into that. And then with being a teacher, you know, maybe they want to be like, oh, Miss Cook, we want you to, you know, be a professor now, so we're gonna pay for you to go to school and further your education. I ain't gonna be mad at that. So yeah, I'm really nervous about this interview just because it's something new, you know, and I think I'll be able to handle it. I'll be all right. Once I get in there, it's just like those pre-jitters kicking in. So like I said, I've been prepping all weekend, you know, just reading up on some stuff, thinking about like how I'm gonna answer questions and stuff like that. So, and I feel like this shift is not too major, for me anyway, but just really understanding like teaching adults is a little bit different than teaching children or adolescents. But just really trying to like define my teaching style, my ideology, pedagogy, all those good words, you know, so that when I come in this interview that I present myself well and I can articulate myself well, so that they'll want to say, hey, we're gonna offer you this position. But this is the career change that I need. And I was in church yesterday, and I just like, there was praise and worship was going on, and I don't know, my mind is just always on a million times, like a million speed, and I have a million tabs open at all times. So I was worshiping in church yesterday, and the atmosphere was just wonderful for worship. And you know, when I'm in worship, you know, I'm talking to God, and my mind is also racing and doing its own thing. And I was just thinking about like transitioning to another job, but I was thinking about transitioning to another job, and like this fear like kind of came over me, and I kept thinking about like, oh, what's gonna happen at the school this year, and like, oh, maybe I should be there. But then I just had to, you know, like I heard God say to me like, don't worry about what's going on at that school. That's not for you anymore. Like, you've moved on, you're on to something new. You are transitioning. And I was like, okay, all right, God, I hear you. And I really had to hear him, because like that fear could just overtake me and like keep me from doing what I wanted to do. Like when I first decided to quit, like I didn't have any fear. Like I wasn't worried, I wasn't concerned, I'm not stressed out like at all. But since I got this interview, like it tried to take over me. But like I said, like I'm glad I went to church yesterday and I was able to like hear the word and talk to God for myself, and just, you know, kind of, you know, put the devil in his place. And I did reach out to one of my colleagues from one of my colleagues from graduate school, because they worked at this, I don't know if they still do, but they have worked at this institution that I'm applying to. They interviewed there. So just, you know, reaching out to my network and just asking for any tips or advice, you know, something that could help me, because, you know, why go in blind? You know, just know what I need to do to be prepared. So I'm excited about this transition. The only thing is it's a part-time position, but I feel like that this is just perfect for me to get my foot in the door. This makeup is coming out really pretty. So yeah, I'm just like focusing on the positive, putting aside my fears. This makeup is like calming me down. I really need that. But I think this will be a good place for me, because definitely since I want to go back to school, I need to be in like an academic environment to like get my brain juices flowing again. I've been out of school for 2 years, so, and I haven't, you know, I've had intelligent conversations, but it's different when you have academic conversations with people and like stuff that you enjoy and like talking about. Like I miss that. Like I jokingly say that like since I've been out of school I'm getting dumber, which is not the case, but you know, your brain is a muscle, so I need to use those things before I lose them. I'm just happy that I got this interview, and my boyfriend was telling me, he's like, you know, once you get one, it's like a whole bunch of them start rolling in. So I hope that that is the case, that I got one, so I'm gonna have a whole bunch just rolling in. And I feel like I'm at the age where I can, like, granted I'll be 30 this year, but that's still young. I'm at the age where I can still like change career paths and change jobs and transition through things until I find like what I am truly passionate about what I really want to do. You know, so that way when I get older, I can settle into something, or, you know, settle into being an entrepreneur or whatever. And now that I think about it, like, I really honestly think that I'm going to get an offer. So I just hope it's like the right fit for me. Because even though I don't have a job, I don't want to just accept something just for the sake of saying that I have a job. Like, I want to be happy, but I also want it to be something where I can make money off of. Because that's why we work, to make money. And a sister need her coins, okay? Okay. But all in all, I'm happy with the decision, like, to leave K-12. Like, I am keeping that option open, like, just in case I need to go back into that. I'm not totally ruling that out. But right now my focus is higher ed. And I'm not ruling it out, because if it gets down to the wire, you know, I need a job and bills gotta get paid. You know, I do what I gotta do. You know, I don't have the luxury of, like, going home to my parents and letting them take care of me until I find a job. You know, I've really been on my own for the past 4 years. And I just made decisions, like, what's gonna make me happy. Like, I really don't care about what other people say or think about my choice to leave my job without having something, like, locked down and secured. Because it's my life, I gotta live it and I gotta be happy. Like, there were people, like, when I told them that I was leaving, oh, you have a job, or where are you working, blah, blah, blah. I don't, and I'm okay with that. Like, and I know something's gonna come, and I know it's time for me to leave. And, you know, I asked for a sign from God, like, I asked for a sign from God, like, am I supposed to leave? You know, when should I leave? And I got a flashing red light. So God gave me a sign, and he was very clear, and I heeded it. And so I know a lot of times, like, you ask God for a sign and you're just like, he gives you one and you're like, oh God, are you sure that was it? Was that a sign? No, you just gotta heed it. And God had given me little signs before, but I was like, I can work around that. But he gave me a huge sign. I just say all that. You have to do what's right for you. And these jobs, like, we cannot take them too seriously, because if you die, if you get sick, these jobs are going to go on without you, whether you like it or not. So if you're there, if you're not there, this place is gonna go on. Like, if I would have stayed in this teaching position and then I got sick or something or passed away, they would have filled that position with another person. I would have died doing something that I didn't want to do at that time and that I was really unhappy about. Or I could have said, oh, I am going to stay, thinking that I had a job, and they could have said, oh, we don't want you to come back next year. And then I would have been, like, caught off guard in, like, having a job or whatever. So I like to be in control of my destiny, of when I work, where I work. You know, I don't want anybody else in control of that. You know, I think just, like, people in general, we just have to stop feeling obligated to these jobs. Like, no, boo-boo, your first obligation is to yourself. Like, are you happy? Like, that's the big thing. Like, are you happy? Is this what you want to do? Are you happy here? We got to stop trying to make these jobs happy, because they're going to go on without us. They really are. You have to do what makes you happy. You have to. Like, there's no way around it. There's no other way to put it. And so, yes, I got things going on in my life, and just, you know, to be honest, there are some fears, you know, about not getting a job and being able to pay my bills. But so my camera cut off. I don't know what's the last thing I said. All right, so I'm a child of God. All right, and I was saying, with me and my relationship with God, whenever, you know, things are going on in my life, he does it to a point where he's trying my faith. He's trying my trust. He's trying my patience. Because like I was saying, nothing ever happens like instantaneously. Not like, oh yes, you have this job. Oh yes, you know, this is good. You have this, you have that, Nikea. No, it's always like, okay, so what you're gonna do, but I'm gonna make it happen for you, but we're gonna test your faith. We're gonna take you through some stuff. Like nothing ever comes like easy for me. And I've just learned that. I've learned that. And I've looked at like old Facebook posts that I've had where I've posted like, oh, nothing ever comes easy for me. I always have to blah, blah, blah. And I feel like that's okay. I've accepted that now because I appreciate stuff more like when I have to work for it, like stuff in life. You know, college wasn't easy for me. Work hasn't been easy for me so far in my professional life. But when I get to my end goal, I'm gonna appreciate it so much more. And I'm gonna realize that it wasn't because of my own strength. It wasn't anything that I did. It was all because of God. Like it really is Him. Like He's the only one that can orchestrate things the way that He does. Like the way that things have happened in my life. Like my first teaching job, I applied to so many jobs down here and I didn't think I would get a teaching position because I didn't have a license. But thankfully in North Carolina, they let you teach without a license for lateral entry. Like you can work on your license. So like I was literally driving in my mom's car on the way to New York when I got offered an interview for my first job here in North Carolina. And then I did an interview via Skype on my iPad in New York and I got the job. And then my second job, luckily that interview was via Skype as well because I was pregnant and I didn't want anyone to not give me a job because I was pregnant. And at that point in my pregnancy, I was like really showing. So I got lucky that all the administrators were like in Michigan. But I interviewed for that job and got that one too. So, you know, everything's always down to the wire. Like my first job, I got a couple weeks before I was supposed to move down here. My next job, I got like a few weeks before like I stopped getting paid for my previous job. So yeah, God is just, He's good to me. And I don't deserve His favor. I really don't. But He keeps on giving it to me. But I just hope that this chat like encourages somebody. Like maybe you're stuck in a job that you don't like or you're not sure what to do. Now, I'm not telling anybody to just quit your job. But maybe you've been on the fence about it. Or you want to make a career change. Like do what makes you happy. Like you really have to do what makes you happy because nobody else is going to do it for you. Nobody else knows what you want to do. Like you have to be in control of your future, your destiny, your passion. You have to be in control of it. And that's what I learned to do, take control of my destiny. Like nobody's going to be a bigger supporter of you than you. And I will say one thing though, my boyfriend is like, he is a big supporter for me. Like I didn't want to like leave my job. Like, you know, Harper needs to be on insurance. He's like, I can always put her on mine. And you know, he just understands like if you're not happy somewhere, you got to leave. And he's been that type of person. Like if you're in a job, oh my God, why are my twists still wet? If you're in a job and you're not happy, you have to find something that you're passionate about so that you can leave that job. And you don't have to like quit a job to find your passion. Like you can still, you know, work there, make your money and, you know, find something else. Even if it's just being like your own boss, you know, you're still at a job and you're not in the position to quit yet. Your business is not financially there. Work at that job until, you know, and support your business until your business can support you. Like use your job to fund your dream. Now technically, like, you know, I technically still have a job right now because I'm still getting paid over the summer. Yes, that's an apple. So, you know, I'm fortunate that, you know, my paycheck is as a teacher was spread out throughout 12 months and not just the months that I was teaching. So, you know, I'm using the summertime to rest, recuperate, but also to look for and apply to jobs. So you just have to use your time and use your resources to get to where you want to get. So yeah, I can't say it enough. Do what is best for you. Do what makes you happy. I feel like out of everything that I said, do what makes you happy. And you know, there is gonna be fear, but there should be a healthy amount of fear. Like, it shouldn't stop you, but you know, just a little bit to cause you to pause and to think and to evaluate your choices and your decisions or your situation, and then move on with what you got to do. And you know, all this academic stuff, these are like all my professional goals, like not even my personal goals. Like, I would love to not work for anybody and just work for myself, and then use my profession to fund my dreams until my dreams can support me. So whatever you want to do, you can do it. If it's work for yourself, or you know, work for somebody else, or get to a certain point in your career, in your life, or be able to retire by a certain age, you can do it. You just have to have a plan in place and know what you want to do and do what makes you happy. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters. You don't want to go through life doing what makes other people happy, your parents or family or friends, and you're going to be miserable in the end. But thanks for letting me talk to y'all, even though you probably won't see this video until after I have the interview. All right, thanks for letting me talk to y'all. Thanks for listening to my chit chat. Get ready with me. Again, do what makes you happy. That's what I'm gonna title this video. Do what makes you happy. Again, thank you all for listening and watching. Be sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button, and right next to that, hit that bell notification button so that you never miss when I post. And go ahead and click on those videos on my end screen, and you can also click on my picture to take you straight to my page, to my channel, so that you can binge watch on all things Nikea JaLynn. Thank you so much for watching, beauties, and I'll definitely be seeing the next one. Bye.